Welcome back to the Real Talk with Myron Mitchell show. And this is Myron Mitchell, the host, along with Daniel Locke, my guest. And he's here again. And last time we saw him, we were talking about different policies with marijuana, cannabis, stop and sniff, things that you need to be aware of when knowing the policies and what's going on in marijuana medical patient as being in Florida. Now, since then, Trump has signed a new order or a new law. And the new law says he's changing marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. Now, is that something that's really going to help us? Or is it just some stuff, some fluff with fine print?
There was a statement I read the other day. Schedule 3 sounds great. Sounds pretty good on the surface because you're taking something from, taking a drug that, Schedule 1 says, no medical use whatsoever and extremely addictive. And Schedule 3 would clearly bring it down out of the Schedule 1 that would be with heroin and other such drugs, and taking it down to, a level where physicians would be able to discuss it and things such as that. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm not this pleased when I say this kind of thing. It has nothing to do with politics.
Right.
It just has to do with policy and what I think is going down. I think he did that as a cash grab.
For a big business.
Well, I can tell you this: corporate cannabis stock was in the tank, still is.
Right.
But when you announce Schedule 3, got a little bump.
Right.
It'd been nice to have a little chunk of that stuff, right? Take a little bump and kick it on down the road. I'm not smart enough. I don't play in that realm, but
it came out of nowhere. It wasn't like we were discussing it. It wasn't like it was a policy. It wasn't like we was like voting for it or anything.
Well, the cannabis industry, it has been fighting for such things for quite some time. A lot of people are fighting for it, but then really the purists, I call California and Colorado very mature cannabis markets. They were like, no, not everybody, of course, okay, but many people were like, no, this is bad news. This Schedule 3, this is bad news, and I'm starting to, I was for it because I'm in the medical side, right? That, it gives validity to what I do, saying that what I'm doing is not peddling, a Schedule 1 drug. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. At this point, I don't believe it's going to happen. It's a political stunt.
What would be, if it was, what would be the pros for a guy like me, a regular or just an average Joe?
Okay, average Joe, they're still hemming people up for cannabis possession, right? So average Joe, all right, we go before the judge. At least we're going before the judge with the Schedule 3 product versus a Schedule 1, with mandatory minimums in all different areas. And, I feel like we got a better shot at, with the judge on a Schedule 3.
So the last time we were here, we discussed decriminalization. So would that be a part of?
No, sir. No. That's one of those misconceptions. Every time we think we're getting a little leg up, prison system ain't coming with us. The prison system don't come with us, we ain't getting that leg up. Okay. And what I mean by that is there's still a lot of money being made hemming up people for cannabis charges. 25% of the arrests in the state, drug arrests in the state of Florida last year were cannabis related. Now, one thinks, it's medically legal. Okay. And that's, one of those things is where they're always pushing for recreational. But the misconception is, well, if it comes recreational, surely they can't put me in jail for it. Man, you're crazy. You're crazy. Matter of fact, they are turning up charges in states right now. And I know we may get to this later, but they're turning up charges in states where, I think Massachusetts just recently, Massachusetts, they were talking about, recriminating up in those areas.
Right.
So where it has been decriminalized.
Right. Well, I had a questions that I wanted to ask. So I have a lot of questions.
Sure, yeah.
It's gonna be like it's not gonna be rapid fire.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it's gonna be questions in which I'm gonna need a full.
Okay.
So
now, some's my opinion. Okay.
Okay.
And I ain't got a real crystal ball. Some of it's Daniel Locke's opinion.
Well, hey, this is opinion.
Okay.
So, Schedule 3
Yes, sir.
acknowledges medical value, but
Correct.
cannabis is still federally illegal.
Correct.
So, are we moving forward or just recognizing the gray area?
Good question. We're recognizing the gray area. We're protecting corporations to make a living off of us in the cannabis industry. That's who we're protecting. We're not protecting with these laws individuals. It's not for you and me.
Right.
Is that answer right?
Right. Hey, and so it's basically not for you and me,
Right.
but for the next higher up.
Yeah.
So who, I guess, we would be considered the middleman.
Yeah. They're going to dictate through laws and legislation when and where we can use the product, where and when we can purchase it.
What?
So does that seem free?
Yeah, they was once federal or state or government put their hands in the marijuana, I knew that they were going to make it to the point of we want to regulate.
Yeah.
So I say,
yeah,
we want to make sure we have the laws and everything in the way we want them. So if you break them, then we're going to punish.
Right.
Am I?
Yes, sir.
Right
You're correct.
Okay.
You're correct.
Okay.
None of these laws that you see that they're promoting, trying to come forward, if none of these laws, it's real simple. Do they come with expungement?
Mm.
Do they come with letting people out of jail?
Mm.
If they don't, then no, they ain't for the people. It's real simple. I don't care what you weed through. If this law, recreational cannabis, they want us to vote on, they want to get it on the ballot. If it comes to fruition without people getting out of jail, it ain't good for the people. You don't need to dig any further than that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, hey, what if people went to jail for driving 70 miles an hour? And then remember when even we were kids, it went from 55 to 70? Yeah. What if there was a bunch of people sitting in jail for driving over 55?
That's right.
Wouldn't you want to get them out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Not the best analogy, but an analogy.
I got you. Okay. Next question. With rescheduling, removing IRS 280E penalty, cannabis businesses won't be taxed life traffickers anymore. Who benefits most? That small operators or multi-state corporations?
Okay. So the whole 280 thing, just in a nutshell, that's a law.
Can you explain?
Yeah.
I said 280.
280. Yeah.
People don't actually know.
Here's what it is. It's a law years ago, and I'm not going to give you the year. I'm not going to give you the person, but years ago, some drug dealer tried to write off his expenses. And they're like, hey, you can't write off expenses in an illegal business.
Right.
So currently the IRS does not allow corporate cannabis from writing off their fuel, their business expenses, right? And a traditional business is able to write off for the cost of doing business. They can't write those things off because technically they're that same drug dealer crossing the state lines on a federal level, right? Remember that we paid IRS federally, not a state tax.
Correct.
So the federal law says that you can't take these tax deductions because you're a drug dealer.
Right.
That's what they're hoping to, and banking as well. Right. It struggles, getting bank accounts and what have you, because some people don't want to do business with people who are in a risky business as cannabis. But the big people, no, sir. So small mom and pop, they don't have write-offs like that to where it's going to make a difference to their bottom line.
Right.
This is for corporate cannabis companies to be able to, and guess what? They're not really paying those taxes anyway right now. Only 25% of corporate cannabis tax nationwide are being paid. So already they're taking a 75% deduction.
Already.
Are you and me allowed to only pay 25% of our income tax? The IRS, can we just tell the IRS we're going to pay 25% and call it a day?
I don't know.
I don't have that account. I don't have that account. Okay.
I tried it anywhere.
So at the end of the day, 280E or whatever, they're still rich folks being rich folks.
Right. Okay. So
that's what the 280 is. So they can legally go, okay, now all the fuel that all of us paid for, or whatever the cost
that we paid for.
Taking you out whining and dining at the golf course, at the country club. Because you can't wipe that off right now.
Your business expenses. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Question. If cannabis is now Schedule 3, why are we still having a banking debate? Will Congress finally pass the Safer Banking Act, or are businesses still stuck using workarounds.
I think we got a better chance for that to happen more than anything because let's be honest, okay, the banks are going to benefit from it.
Right.
So if there's anything, it just
when you go to the dispensary route, they don't directly. You can't directly do it with the bank. You have
correct.
To something like
you can use your card, but
it's like
they got to round up. That way, it's a withdrawal. Yeah.
What can you explain the reason for that? Is that has this to do with the Safer Banking Act?
Yeah, I mean it's basically what you're doing is you're using your card as an ATM right there.
Right.
That's why they're rounding it up and giving you money back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're using the ATM there instead of walking across and using the physical ATM. That's all that is. But you're not really. It's not like, and that's why you're having to use your debit card.
Right.
Can't use your charge card.
Yeah.
That would be banking.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Amex, Visa,
is it
MasterCard, they're not letting you have. They're not playing with it.
So, and this I have to take it here.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you used to go to your regular weed,
the plug,
you have to have cash.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it better to have cash when you go to this dispensary, or is it better to use your card?
Well, I mean, from a financial standpoint, you're not paying that extra upcharge, right? Now you're asking me, is it cheaper to use your ATM or?
Right.
I don't know. It depends on where you get your cash from.
Okay. Okay. Because some of them they charge you.
That's about the same thing.
Okay. Well, we got this question.
Yeah.
So Florida missed recreational legalization in 2024.
Yes, 26.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, 24. You're talking about going back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
With the new 226 innovative coming, would you need to change politically to hit the 60% threshold?
Change politically. You take another political approach to get there. Is that what you're asking me?
They missed it. They missed the legalization.
They missed making it to the ballot this time. Yes, because they get enough signatures.
What approach do you think they would need to take now to get it to the 60%?
I think. Okay, well, it's got to make the ballot. That's a separate topic, which they made that. Well, not necessarily. Right now, it's not on the ballot. Right now, it's not on the 2026 ballot. Okay. It didn't get enough votes, and there's still some lawsuits going on there, but I don't think it's going to make the ballot.
Well,
okay. Now, if it did make the ballot, they're going to do the same PR campaign they did 2 years ago. It's going to be the same thing. So the question is, has the consumer gotten smarter?
Right.
Okay, that's the question. Has the consumer gotten smarter in 2 years to know what's going on? And I can't answer that question. I know.
I'm
Go ahead.
I'm gonna answer it from my point of view.
Okay, talk to me.
I feel like the reason why it didn't get passed is because the consumer was smarter than they thought.
Yes,
they were smarter than they thought because a regular. If this was 2018, maybe 2020, this would have got passed.
Possibly.
I think.
Yep.
2024, I believe people are more aware from different areas.
Mm-hmm.
They're aware that what the law that they were trying to pass wasn't the law that they needed to be in Florida for it to be for something I want to vote for.
Yeah.
So I voted against it.
Yeah.
And being a Florida voter, I voted against it because it didn't have what I thought was something where I could grow as in anything you do. You want to grow.
Sure.
You want to,
or at least opportunity, right?
You want opportunity to be from here to here, you know.
Right.
And none of what they had in the laws showed me that. All it showed me is that I could consume.
Right.
That was it.
You could never have no skin in the game.
Right.
Yeah, it's because you're a businessman. Because you're smart. That's how you think.
Right.
That's why. Most Floridians, unfortunately, don't think the way you think. I think it didn't make it for this reason. Somehow, some way, dear gosh, we have done this with everything in freaking America. They have politicized this to where it's a Republican Democrat thing. For God's sake, it blows my mind and it frustrates me to no end. If you get cancer, Okay, and you need cannabis. That cancer don't know if you're a Democrat or Republican. But why we go to the dadgum polls and have to follow like sheep just blows my mind. I simply think it didn't make it because it was a year for the governor. We're a red state. We're not purple anymore. We're red, and just that many more Republicans turned out to vote for governor. That I hate to say we're that simple, but baby, we're that simple. Okay. Remember, I shared with you before, only about 18 to 20% of people even use cannabis.
Right.
So that means 80% just going by whatever their gut feeling is. Right. Gut feeling, there's a lot of things that make sense. Okay, because they use terms like access for all. That's the wonder. Access for all. Yeah. As if somebody can't go get a cannabis card. Right. Or you can't buy weed from your neighbor who's got a cannabis card.
Right.
I think we got access for all. So maybe that dog don't hunt as much anymore. Because everybody's going, wait a minute, I got access. Everybody I know's got access now. So I don't know that dog hunts so much anymore. Okay, to use our old Southern term.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So I don't think access for all is a big sell. But I also think that what people are maybe hoping or becoming aware of is this isn't a wonderful industry to possibly be a part of. And when nobody is going to be able to get their foot in this door financially, any way, shape, or form, I think we've seen corporations, get their foot in enough stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was talking, an analogy, and people who, okay, if you get if you get your plumbing done, you get a HVAC done, your air conditioning done, or you get something that you're normally hiring a mom and pop company, right? It's Mr. Charlie's air conditioning company or whatever. Now you're starting to see these companies like, and I'm not picking on anybody. It is what it is. Like Lickety Split. We do plumbing, AC.
Right.
We do it all. Right. Those are national companies.
Right.
I'm not anti-national company person. But what if that national company comes in and starts going, because right now, to get your plumbing done, your roofing done, the person's got to be able to pull a permit. They got to be a licensed contractor. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? It'd be a lot cheaper for my company if I could legislate out permits. Now you, the consumer, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and then Joe Blow, your neighbor who's the plumbing contractor, might not be able to be in business anymore because they can't compete anymore. Right. That's what we started that way in corporate cannabis in Florida. Mm-hmm. So we don't know any different yet, but there's plenty of opportunities in other states where people can get their foot in the door.
Right.
Financially.
Okay. I got this question. Now, we I think you talked to me about this before, mm-hmm. and I want to touch on it just real quick. It says, can states go backwards? For the first time, states like Massachusetts, Maine, Arizona are testing rollback. Mm-hmm. Could we actually see legalization reverse somewhere?
You will. Well, if they get it in the way that things are set up in the state of Florida, there will be no need to reverse anything because nobody's got their foot in the door. But in other states, they had to give. They were a little bit smarter, right? Had a little bit more education, like California. Right. Okay, we all know they've been the roots of plenty of good black market cannabis in the 70s and 80s. So they had what they call a cannabis culture already embedded in California. So those guys made sure they had a foot in the door when things went recreational. You can be a craft small farmer. You can be a small, you know what I'm saying? So they were protected that way. I forget the laws exactly, but they were protected that way. But when corporate cannabis, once they get in, and they own all the legislators in your state capital, they start legislating you out of business. Mm-hmm. It's not will it happen. It absolutely will happen. They've done this in every single state. California's fighting it right now. Mm-hmm. Colorado's fighting it. Ohio's fighting it. Every single state that has recreational cannabis, the first thing they do is fight rollback. And it's not rollback to make it not legal. It's rollback to where the small person's not able to compete. Wow. That's what's happening nationwide in America. I mean, that's the advantage we got right now in Florida is if we can learn from the rest of the country and educate ourselves, okay, then we cannot make the same. If you don't give them that golden egg,
because Florida,
we'll always have a chance to get there.
Florida a little bit late to the party.
Way late to the party.
Yeah,
and
so you saying that we can learn from the mistakes that they have made
We can, if we let them go recreate, we got time to learn an industry and a potential way to get in and make a living with them. Okay, not me. I'm done. I'm about to retire.
Right.
I'm talking about you, young guys, young entrepreneurs like you might see an opportunity to get your foot in the door. Okay, well, guess what? You know, if we don't let them legislate your way out before it even becomes a thing, then you see what I'm hoping these other states will do, and they're starting to. You know, for example, I know I use construction a lot, but I used to own a roofing company. I used to be a member of the Northeast Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal Association. Now, why was I a member of that? Because I was a licensed contractor. You had to pull a permit to do your roof. I didn't compete against two guys with a nail gun in a pickup truck who was going to jackleg your roof. I couldn't compete with them because I had to do it right. I had to have inspections. I had to make sure that your roof was done properly. So by being a part of this association, we were able to together afford lobbyists in Tallahassee that protected us for being licensed contractors. Same thing needs to apply with cannabis around the country. These states need to get small people working together so they have a voice together.
Yeah.
That's what's got to happen.
Okay. I guess this question goes exactly with that.
Yeah.
National testing standard.
Yeah.
2026, we finally get standardized testing across states. Will potency, inflation, and inconsistent labs keep undermining trust?
Yes, absolutely. And we don't see it in Florida because, once again, there's no independent labs coming behind these folks and testing them. So all we got to do is just assume that everything they tell us is true.
Right.
Okay. But when it comes to inflating the THC, that's a marketing deal.
Right.
So here's what they did first. They first inflated the THC going, hey, we all bought into this. Me too. I bought into it too. Okay. Okay, that's 30% THC. You don't have to smoke as much to have the same effect.
Right.
We bought into that. I bet you did too, right? We bought in buying this 30%. Yeah. Oh man, that ain't true. That ain't really okay. It's hard to tell us old cats, right? Who grew up on the old stuff, right? With when we're going, man, this 30% doesn't work as good as that 3% that we grew up on. Yeah, so you can't really pee down somebody's leg and tell them it's raining. You know what I mean? So not us. So we're like, that didn't work. Then they switched their marketing over to terpenes. Oh, you really want to see the higher terpenes? Guess what? That one didn't work much either, did it? So that's it's marketing stuff. They're going to keep. And if we decide we want to look at minor cannabinoids, which I think is where the real magic may be, that's another topic for another day. But they'll start inflating those too. Whatever we start looking at and thinking that's where the medicine's happening, they're going to keep manipulating that number for marketing. That's just the way it works. I'm sorry, man. I'm the bearer of bad news.
Yeah. You're good. I'm gonna split you guys a little bit. We got time for one more question. Okay. Cannabis beverages versus alcohol. THC beverages are rising.
Yes.
And alcohol is in decline.
Correct.
Is this a culture shift? How America unwind?
You know what? I think it's a culture shift in our younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We all know that, right? How many of us, I ain't mad at them, I'm mad, right? But how many of us like, man, what do you mean y'all ain't out smoking weed? What do you mean y'all ain't drinking a 6-pack? Hey, trying to encourage them. Right. But they've made that, the younger generations made that shift on their own.
Right.
They're just not being as inebriated as we were. Maybe because they didn't have the, Nancy Reagan beating us down. I don't know. Maybe they ain't rebellious no more because nobody cares. I can't speak to it. But I don't think it has anything really to do with one over the other. Right. Now, in fairness, I think people have found that they can use cannabis for rest and relaxation. And it's socially acceptable not to be drinking all the time. Who would have thought that these non-alcoholic cocktails would be sold in a bar for $14? I'm like, hey, and they come with a back or nothing. Yeah. So it's just a different era. I'm happy. Right. I'm not looking for people to have more vices, but I don't think it has anything special to do other than just our younger generation just saying no because they want to say no not because they were told.
Okay. Well, we came to answer questions that have been here among the masses about marijuana use, about what it's going to do in Florida, how it's going to help, how it's going to hurt. Maybe next time we speak, we can talk about big corporation versus small corporation. I know I left that out because I know that's a long way to topic. But I do have one more question for you. 5 years from now, will the marijuana culture in America look like wellness, Wall Street, or underground?
I think it's going to be, I hate to say it, I think it's going to be underground, and then it'll get back to wellness. And here's the biggest reason. So where I'm hoping, and the last thing I'd like to urge anybody that's listening, in the state of Florida, well, the way that we can get where we need to go is we need to all start advocating for home grow.
Okay.
That's where it starts. If we get home grow, okay.
That's on the ballot for.
It ain't on no ballot. We got to get some legislator in the state of Florida to say, hey, we want home grow.
Need to be able to grow.
We want home grow. Yeah, if you and me could grow 4 plants, we wouldn't have to worry. I mean, I'd have to reach out and learn. I didn't grow up growing cannabis, but I could learn how to use living soil. I could learn how to let it go a full cycle. Okay. I could learn how to not have to use pesticides by using bugs, right? You can do these type of things in a small environment. You cannot do it to scale. You cannot do it to scale. If you get nothing else from this conversation, let's all advocate for home grow.
Yeah.
In corporate Canada, you can do what you want to do. Right. Have at it. Right. But for us old cats, we need medicine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that'll eventually, I think if we get home grow in the state of Florida at some point, then the big boys will look and go, uh-oh.
Right.
The guys with the most disposable income are over there doing their own stuff because they actually need medicine. They don't just need advice.
Right.
They need medicine.
When it goes to...
and then they'll jump on.
They monopolize. We come back with the counter. We can do our own thing.
Right.
Then we have to come to an agreement.
Right.
With both parties.
Yeah, and that's where they're going to win. If there was a true cannabis culture that us old cats got, there was a true cannabis culture, they'd win. Because we'd still roll down to the dispensary and whatever for the day.
Right.
The young kids will never know the cannabis culture we grew up with.
Right.
So they'll still win. And they'll win.
Okay. Well, we all about winning out here on Real Talk with Myron Mitchell. And this has been an episode when we talked about the policies, we talked about the power, we talked about how can we move forward with the cannabis and move forward and be legal. So we got Daniel Locke, and he's going to join us again because he's our go-to guy when it comes to what we need to know behind the scenes in medical cannabis in the underground industry. I'm thankful that you joined us again. I'd like to thank you.
I'm honored, brother.
Okay. And we're going to let you know that this is Real Talk with Myron, and we'll see you on the next episode.